The cure for addiction is to resolve the emotional pain. And that's why anxiety is often a precursor or a foundation to addiction.
Right.
And then trauma is often the cause of anxiety.
Yeah. As you say in your book on page 43, the more emotionally uncomfortable they are, the more susceptible they are to addictive tendencies, and the more readily they will engage in compulsive behavior, such as gambling, shopping, eating, drinking.
Right. So if you look at the person who smokes 2 packs a day, they're smoking 40 times a day, or maybe 2 cigarettes 20 times. They're doing it when they eat, when they drink, when they walk, when they talk, when they drive, when they take a break, before they go to bed. So they're doing that, like we talked about, to make themselves feel better. People smoke to manage their emotional state, whether they admit it or not. That's what's going on, even subtly. So if someone has to smoke 40 times during the day, that means their comfort zone is really small, which means they're constantly bumping up against the boundaries of their comfort zone, which means they can't really do much without feeling a little bit of stress, a little bit of anxiety. And because they're so accustomed to smoking a lot, to manage them, to keep them in that comfort zone, they become dependent upon cigarettes. And that's where the dependency comes from for most people.
It's a vicious cycle.
Exactly. So, we relate this to the myth of the addictive personality, another video we have. It's not a personality type, but when you look at someone who smokes and they drink and they overeat and they gamble, I'm using extreme here, most people would say, wow, you've got an addictive personality. And I would say, and I know you agree, Gina, you would say, no, you don't have an addictive personality. You just have a lot of emotional stress or distress. And for that person, smoking is not doing it. They need to smoke and eat and drink and shop.
They might as well be smoking 40 times a day.
Right. So they basically spread it around. And that's why if someone resolves their emotional crap and they are able to achieve some level of fulfillment in their life, they become nearly addiction-proof. Most people are in some emotional pain. So if you can numb that, either through cigarettes or drugs or food or alcohol or behaviors like shopping, or distract yourself from it, those things become addictive, and that's how you create a compulsion. So the cure for addiction is to resolve the emotional pain. And that's why anxiety is often a precursor or a foundation to addiction.
Right.
And then trauma is often the cause of anxiety.
Yep.
So if you don't deal with the root issue, that's something you and I are real passionate about, is not just treating symptoms. Smoking is a symptom. And very often that's enough if you just deal with the smoking. But if you have a lot of emotional baggage, you find yourself having a whole bunch of different addictive tendencies or compulsive behaviors, chances are it's going to be more difficult to quit, because the problem is not the cigarettes. The problem is not the smoking. It's certainly not nicotine. That's a symptom. That's your mind's attempt to feel better. And when someone has a whole bunch of behaviors or chemicals they're dependent on emotionally, it's because they have a lot of shit that they're not dealing with effectively, and they have to spread it around just to cope, just to keep themselves level.
Get themselves through that day or that week.
And that's, by the way, one reason why when people quit smoking, they tend to gain some weight. Because if they're not dealing with the emotions, and they are not going to touch a cigarette, their subconscious mind says, okay, well, if I can't make you feel better by smoking, I'm going to find some food. And that's the primary reason why people gain weight is through overeating.
Substitution
Substitution of the habit.